This week, we're going to talk about marketing and branding, my favorite. So, the bottom line is this: venues are not worried or interested in your talent. They want reliability. It is your professionalism that gets booked over and over and over again. A lot of musicians think, if I just send enough emails, somebody will call me back, or I'll just send a really good demo. I remember those days. I put a nice demo together in a tape and send it out to the record labels and hope to get lucky. We always hear those stories. No, I learned the hard way that agents and venue owners and restaurant owners, et cetera, and bookers, they want as much of a prepared product as possible, a ready product, right? So imagine that you're selling a can of soda, right? And you're trying to pitch this can of soda to a distribution company and that's going to distribute your can of soda all over the world. And you show up and you have a can and there's no liquid inside and the writing is done with a Sharpie and you say, well, this is what it's going to kind of look like and it's going to taste like grape. No, they're going to be like, okay, go ahead and finish the grape soda, do the graphics properly, and then bring it back to us and then we'll talk. So it's the same thing here. You can't send out material that is not 100%. Some years ago, I put together a press kit with the help of a marketing branding company, out of which I learned a lot of stuff, which I'm going to now share with you. And we put together this fantastic press kit. It was cut specifically to put a CD. This is back when CDs were available everywhere. And all the graphics were really nice. And I had a logo and all that stuff done. And I used that to send out to all of the different agents and bookers and venues, et cetera, et cetera. Well, here's the interesting part. I get a call from the entertainment director of Disney here in California, directly from him. And he said, if your music is half as good as your presentation, we want you to play for Disney. And I did. I played for Disney for about 4 years. And he never even took the time to listen to my music, which, as entertainers and as artists, we can feel, well, what about my work? That's great, but save it for the people, save it for the audience. The fact that my press kit was so good that I got hired to perform at Disney, of all places, without him even listening to my music, it says a lot. So I followed those guidelines along the way. So there's three elements to a good marketing branding system. Element number one is your EPK and your press kit. The press kit, the physical press kit, meaning paper, okay, not online. A lot of musicians nowadays don't want to do them because they cost a couple of bucks and they figure, I'll just put it online. You can do free EPKs nowadays. All you have to do is search free EPK and you will get options where you can put together a free EPK, which is fine. So if you have to do a free EPK, do a free EPK, but just make sure there's a few things that are really important. Get good photography done. That doesn't mean you have to go to a fancy, famous photographer or even a not famous photographer. You can do it with your phone if you have a nice camera at home. If you don't have anybody to shoot pictures for you, then stick it on a table or on a chair and just get good at it. Make sure the quality of the photo is good. Make sure the clothing is good. Make sure the lighting is good and get as many good photos as possible. Once you have a bunch of good photos, then choose two or three that represent you as an artist the best. So I, for example, for the longest time, as you can see here, for example, or here, my thing was always very serious because that was me. That was the serious guitarist, the romantic, mysterious guitar player. Now I've changed a little bit. Now I'm a little bit more lighthearted, I guess you could say. And so a lot of my marketing is a little bit more relaxed. I smile a little bit more, or at least I pretend to. But the point is that I'm shifting as an artist. So you have to do the same. You have to make sure that you capture who you are as an artist. Don't do what everybody else is doing. Try to just shift it a little bit. Try to be creative a little bit so that when people receive your stuff, they actually look at it because they're not going to be like, oh, there's another singer. Oh, there's another guitarist. Try to get creative. Try to make it nice, but always very professional and always the best possible quality. Very important. Okay. So you need to have good photos. You need to have a good logo, right? So here's another point. A good logo that you can use across the board of all your stuff, all of your business cards. Here's some of my business cards, for example. They have all their, see, there's my little logo. All right. So now that one's changed. I used a different one, which is right here. For example, I don't know if it's going to focus, but anyway, I used that one for, I don't know, 15 years. And then recently I changed to the other one. It was time. But You can get this done for cheap. If you're good with art, then do it yourself, right? Just make sure it's good quality. But you can get on Fiverr, for example, and you can get a logo done for 20 bucks. And then you can use that across all of your social media and across your all of your EPK and your physical branding and your physical marketing tools as well. So that's what you need. You need good photography, you need a bio. Now, okay, you've never played any gigs. That's okay. A bio is not necessarily because again, the point here is not you're not going to tell them that you've played thousands of shows and stuff like that because you haven't gotten there yet. So a bio in this case is who are you as a person from an artistic perspective? You don't want to tell people that you like working on cars also. It's not it's not necessary. But a client wants to know, where you've lived, what things you've been interested in, how long you've been playing, what kind of music you perform. You can get creative with your bio. If you have been performing a little bit already, then include what you've done, include the places that you've played at. So a nice bio is really important as well. If you have some clips of yourself performing, if you've already played out live and you have some clips of you performing, fantastic. You can include those in your EPK, in your electronic press kit. If you don't, then it's good to film yourself performing. Again, I repeat myself over and over again, but try to make it as professional as possible. If you don't have lighting, if you don't have the right microphones, if you don't have the right gear, it's fine. Just do the best with what you have. Do it in the daytime with the sun so that you have good light. Try to capture the sound the best possible way. And if you don't have an ability to get good sound and whatever because you're just starting out, just keep clips short so that it doesn't become too obvious that the sound is not great. But at least people, your potential clients, will be able to see that you indeed play the instrument or sing or do whatever it is that you're suggesting that you do. So it's good to have. And as you progress, nowadays, I wish I had more footage of myself performing when I started. But back then, I hate to admit this, but there were no cell phones. And certainly, maybe there were cell phones, but not like these nowadays, where they have these fantastic cameras and all this ability to do all these great things. So we have all this stuff now. Most of us have a phone, even if it's not a fantastic one. Most of them have a camera nowadays. So if you go out and perform, invest in a tripod and put it on there and record yourself performing at the very least so that you can see where you can improve. But if you get some good information, if you get some good clips, then save them and you can use them for your electronic press kit. Okay? Keep it simple. Keep it simple, keep it professional, and keep it nice. Again, these people, whether it's a restaurant owner or venue owner or what have you, whatever location you can think, these people are busy and the last thing they want to do is try to figure out how to see if you're good for their place, you know? So you want to make it as easy as possible for them, even if it's a booking agency, even if it's a booker, almost more so because they get a lot of press kits and they get a lot of emails and they get a lot of things. And if they have to go clicking and searching and where do I see that, they just move on. So keep it simple. Keep it simple, keep it classy, keep it professional. And when I mean classy, again, like I've said before, doesn't mean you need to wear a suit and a tie. Okay. It means that you need to keep it classy to your vibe, to what it is that you do. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If you have a nice, organized, professional press kit, the venue is going to call you before they call somebody who, even if they're recommended a lot of the times, who has this horrible, disorganized, and unprofessional press kit or none at all. So it's good to have. It's good to invest in it. It's good to take your time with it and have a great time with it because it's really a lot of fun to put this stuff together. Because the idea is this is what's going to get you gigs. This is what's going to get you more movement in your career. After a lot of time doing this and having a lot of press kits done. And I've learned that the simple, the better. And it just works. It just flows and makes it nice. But you can do it however you choose. Just make sure that it's professional and clean. All right. You do want to have the circle of marketing, which is, send a press kit, send the email, send the follow up, and then a phone call. So if you can do that, then you're going to get good outreach. You're going to get good response. Doesn't mean you'll get hired necessarily, but at least you'll plant that seed for when they need you. All right. So remember, send the press kit. And when I say send the press kit, it's literally send the press kit by mail. You can get a nice folder done, or you can buy the folders, those folders that open, and then order maybe a little sticker that goes up front with your logo or with your name on it. And inside you can put, one of these, maybe get a little flyer done and just include a nice photo of yourself. Nowadays, you can't put a CD, but you can direct them towards your website. Now, a lot of people have told me, well, if they have a website, just send them an email and direct them to the website. Yeah, you can do that. But believe me when I tell you, when they receive a goodie like this in their office or in their studio or in their home or whatever, wherever they work out of, they're going to notice and they're going to say, well, what is this all about? Now they're going to pay attention. If they get 1,000 emails a day and one of them is yours, all due respect to you and to me and to every artist, why would they pay that much attention to it? So you want to make sure that they have a reason to pay attention to it. Does that make sense? Another thing you can do is take the package by hand if it's in your local area. Take it in, ask for the person who's in charge of hiring the entertainment, give it to them and introduce yourself. Then you're cutting a lot of corners there. I mean, you can then also then send an email to that person saying thank you for taking the time to see you, blah blah. Um, Now, how do you get all this information from your clients? Good question. You search, you work, and recently I have been seeing a lot of online, and this has been going on for a long time. And listen, I don't want to put down anybody for trying to help or trying to make a living or whatever it is. But recently, I've been seeing these programs that they sell you for whatever $29 or I don't know what it is, but the list of agents and bookers and all this stuff. On a personal note, I get really bothered by people who take advantage of somebody's soul, artistic soul, meaning uh, there's a certain gullibility behind the fact that we want to do this work. We want to perform. And if somebody says, well, look, I'll give you all the ways that you can, well, here's all the agents, just send them, just give me $129 or whatever. And now you just bought a list that they've sold to thousands of people and that they're all going to just flutter their information to these agents. I've purchased these things in the past. 95% of the stuff is not even valid. There are agencies that are gone. Nowadays, they take all the information from the web from the internet and they just list it out. They take a couple of days to put together this plan and then they sell it. So what I'm trying to say is this. Again, I'm not putting anybody down, but this is work like any other. It just happens to be a lot more fun and it happens to be a lot more rewarding because then the fruit of the work is getting out and performing our music and making money doing it. So point is, don't try to cut corners by purchasing a dream. All right. I chose to do this, for that purpose is to teach people how to do this the right way. I'm not saying it's, do it for free or you don't need this, you need gear, you need a press kit, you need stuff. And I'm not saying that you need to go and buy the most expensive stuff. A lot of it you can do on your own. Just get creative, but always do it as good as possible. Right. And the earlier question, what about email addresses, contact information, and whatever? Go to the places and ask for cards, call them up, or go online. It's much easier and find out the venues in your area, the coffee shops, the wineries, the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, and find out who the person in charge of entertainment is and direct your information to them. If it's not online, call them up and say, hey, who's the person in charge of entertainment? Can I have their information? Can I have their email address? And you just ask and you start compiling that information. Once you have that information, it's a good idea to keep it in some kind of a chart or some kind of a paper that you can take notes, right? So that you can say, sent press kit, contact them, met him or her, nice person, whatever. And you take notes because that way, when you see him again or whatever, you know where you stand with that particular client. All right. So to finalize, I can ramble on about this stuff, particularly because I love marketing. Make sure you market yourself in a professional and simple way. Build yourself a nice website, get a nice logo done, and follow that branding across all of your social media. Don't use the Instagram that you've been using for your, fishing trips. And then now all of a sudden start putting these, start a new Instagram, start a new Facebook, start a YouTube. Right now you may not have any videos, but start it and have it there with your information because once you start getting some videos, you can stick them up there. All right. And start creating movement. So, and it's just a good idea to have all of these things. So you have your website, you have your Instagram, and you have your Facebook and you have your YouTube. Now there's also LinkedIn. There's a lot of websites and you can choose whichever ones you want. All right. But let me tell you this one thing. You don't need to worry about having millions of followers on there. A lot of people, they get really frustrated and, oh, well, I only have 100 followers or 100 people liking my, it's fine because for one, it will grow. And for two, the purpose of this is for you to sell your work and for people to be able to find you and see who you are and what you're all about. So as time progresses, you'll have more followers and you'll have more people and you'll have more comments and all that stuff, more likes, and all of that. My point is, don't be too concerned about it. Just put it together, have it ready, and start building it. But be consistent with your marketing and be consistent with your branding, with your photos, and with your logos, etc. I hope that makes sense. All right, so I don't want to make this too terribly long, but remember, we're a community, and that for me is the most exciting part of this. That I didn't have any of this growing up as a musician, and I had to figure it all out on my own. This is fun for me to be able to share this stuff with you and for us to be able to share ideas and experiences and things that happened. Then, if you want to share it so that people say, okay, let's try this too, because it really worked for this person. If you said something horrible and it backfired, share that too so that other people don't do that, you know? So, let's work this together. I think it'll be a lot of fun once we start seeing that people start getting out there and gigging and making music, making some money with this, and we start seeing photographs of the gigs and all that stuff. I'm just really excited about it. So um, let's stay focused. Let's do our work. Check out all the information that I'm adding to this video. And I look forward to next week when we see each other again, and we're gonna keep working on your career as a musician and getting you out there to perform. Get all your work done. Thank you so much. We'll see you then. Bye.